Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Now, this third chapter is basically staffing model. As I stated, this chapter is very conceptual chapter. We basically do not do any configuration. We already did the configuration when we created the supervisory organization. In that supervisory organization, we saw there were two options: position management and job management. Based on the requirement, based on how we have to build it, how exactly this is going to work. That is what we have to decide. That what kind of staffing model is there and has to be used. Because both of them have different properties. Different properties in the sense that they will be able to get into different mode of hiring. I need a staffing model for hiring the employees. That is the reason why I have this. Does that make sense? Can you please repeat the question? I'm sorry, can you repeat? I could not hear that. Can you please repeat what I have said? I said that we do not need to configure it separately. When we create supervisory organizations, we have configured the staffing model. Supervisory organizations are like departments, and each department follows a different methodology of hiring. Correct. If I have a different methodology of hiring, based on that, I will choose the staffing model. And there are two types of staffing model which Workday provides. Initially, there was only one, which was job management. But later on, the product improved, and then the Workday team realized that a lot of customers also said that if you will just keep one staffing model, it is going to be very difficult for them to continue working with this product. They had to introduce position management. Earlier, it was only job management. Now, what is the basic difference between a position management and a job management? That is first thing that we have to understand. Now, the first thing that you have to understand is, as per the requirement, we choose the staffing model. If I have to go with position-based hiring, which means I have to be very specific. What exactly am I looking for? Now, when I say I have to be very specific, what I'm looking for, that means I'm looking for some specific skill set. That is number one. Second, I'm looking for some experienced folk, which means I need somebody to work on some kind of project. Then only I would need somebody with a position. Otherwise, if I have to hire freshers, I can use job management also. There is no problem. Position management is basically used in those departments where you have a very specific skill-based or experience-based hiring. That is generally your project teams. But when you don't have a specific skill-based hiring or you're doing a bulk hiring, then in those cases you need job management. Is the difference clear? Where do we use project or position and where do we use the? All these things. That's wonderful. Now, as we have understood the difference, accordingly, we have to also make sure that we are getting the exact reason why we have to choose the staffing model. Without staffing model, we cannot process or proceed with the hiring. That is the first and the foremost rule. It is a mandatory step when you create a supervisory organization. There you have to put the staffing model. This is the major concept behind it. Excuse me, Devashish. Yes, please tell me. You said that for job management, we'll go for bulk hiring. Even though in bulk hiring, also we'll go for a specific skill set and experience. When you do a bulk hiring, how can you do a specific skill set? That is the question. Oh, bulk hiring means we cannot take whoever the employees comes into the organization. We specifically look for the C if you want Java developer bulk hiring. No, I'm not talking about only IT. You're only specifically looking towards IT. I'm talking about different industry segments because HCM is implemented everywhere. Let's say you are going ahead and hiring in your real estate. You need workers. If you look into IT, you may use job management, but there will be specific skill required. But let's say you are in a construction business and you're a major construction player like DLF. You may have heard about that name, or you may have gone into Dubai and other places where you have seen MR Group. They need hundreds of workers daily on a daily basis. I understand. In those, what do you need? You cannot keep on creating different positions every day, and then you have to follow all the process of hiring. It is very consuming, time consuming process. For those purposes, you need job management. Even in IT, let's say you have to hire freshers. When let's say you work in TCS, Infosys, Wipro or any other IT consultancy company and they're doing campus hiring. Now, when they do campus hiring, are they looking for a specific skill set? No, they will just look that they are going to be graduating. They have, certain, numbers like in the 10th or 12th, whatever the number is. And then they should have a good presentation skills. They should be able to communicate and they should have logical reasoning. These are the three things they look for and they will keep on hiring irrespective of the branch. It could be mechanical, it could be electrical, it could be computer science, it could be IT. They don't look into that specific branch at that point of time because they know that they have to go through the training. They have to go through and complete the training. Then only they'll be onboarded on a different project. There are also those department which is doing this bulk hiring. Let's say that group is called as resource management group who takes care of the employees on bench. And you know who goes ahead and conducts this bulk hiring. Their department staffing model cannot be position management. They will have to keep it job management. Are you getting the point? Yes. This is the reason why I said when it goes up to bulk hiring. Like sales executives like that also. Sales executives. Job management. You may hire a help desk team. Someone from help desk side. You don't need a very, hardcore skills like. Yes. You need just somebody who can speak good English and has a computer knowledge. You can go ahead and keep on hiring them. Those places. Also, your staffing model could be job management because you have to think about different industry segments. Because this HCM tool that can be implemented in any industry, When you go into hospital industry or hospitality industry, there also it is implemented. All then. Now we have understood the difference between position management and job management. If I have to hire somebody for a specific skill in a specific department, then I would prefer position management. The staffing in that department would generally be position management. If it is position management, I'll have to define how many positions are there. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And based on that, I will have to create job profiles also. But in job management, it is not necessary. I can have one job profile and I can hire 100 people at one go. That's how the difference is. Now, as I stated initially, there were only supervisory organizations where the staffing model was job management. For organizations, it is very difficult that if they have to hire something very specific, they could not do it properly. They will have to rely on the recruiter to get the resources. They will not be able to track it because it's a common channel for everything. It will become difficult. And that's the reason why they improved its product and brought in position management and job management parallelly. Both of them is now available. As per your requirement, choose whatever you want. That is the basic difference. Now, why are we talking much about it? Because the first 15-20 customers who started using Workday, at that point of time, there was no position management available and they kept on building all their supervisory organizations, everything on this particular staffing model. Now this product has improved. And all those customers who are using Workday from day one, you know when the product was launched in the market. You may come across to a customer who wants to change the staffing model to position management. And based on that, your interviewer can ask you questions. Because there is a limitation here. First, let me tell you the limitation. The limitation is if I don't have a proper staffing model and whatever I have chosen, let's say I have chosen job management and I want to move into position. But I have a lot of people hired in my organization. I have a lot of employees who might have retired from the organization. And I have a lot of people who have exited from the organization. Then I am saying I need to make the changes in the staffing model. The limitation is even if you have hired one person in your supervisory organization, you cannot go ahead and change the staffing model. This is a very big limitation. Is that clear? No, can you please explain it again? Limitation. I have a supervisory organization and I have chosen the staffing model as job management. But now I believe that I should go into position management. The limitation is if I have hired even one employee in that supervisory organization, even if there is one employee, I cannot change the staffing model. It has to be empty. It has to be blank. If the supervisory organization is blank, where there is no worker, then only I can change the staffing model. Let me show it to you. I've been logged out. Let me go into the This is supervisory organization we have created yesterday or maybe day before yesterday. You see the staffing model. It is position management. And I see the members. There is no member now. I don't have anybody. If I click on actions, I'll go to organization. This is organization and you see here it says edit staffing model. I can go ahead and change the staffing model to job management and click on. My staffing model will change. Now it is job management instead of position, but it does not mean that all my subordinate also has the same staffing model. No, the inheritance here is broken because I changed the staffing model in the superior organization. It does not mean my subordinate will have also the job management. It still has position management. This is something you all should know. I want to change the staffing model for this. I can do that. There's no problem because there is still no members in this. I don't see any member. Nobody has been hired. I can go ahead and change the staffing model for this organization also. It will allow me. If I had one member, and then if we want to change our staffing model, then what we need to do, we cannot do that. That is the trick. We cannot change the staffing model. I'll show you. Let's say we are going into Steve's supervisory organization because Steve has been hired. Steve is an employee. Let's go into Steve's supervisory organization. This is the Global Model Services Supervisory Organization. Now you see, you have 5 employees here. And if I have to hire somebody, I can do. But if I have to change the staffing model, what I will do, I'll click on Actions. I'll go to Organization and you see this option. I don't have that option. It is, staffing model. There I was having it. Here you see, I have edit staffing model. But if I go in this organization, I don't have it. I don't see that. That option itself is not available. If that option is not available, I cannot do anything. Correct. This is what we have to understand, that this is a limitation and there will be customers who will come with this limitation and will ask you, how can I make those changes? What I have to do, or they will give you this project to make sure that you are able to make the change in the staffing model and you are able to give them the latest part to use position management. If you are interviewed in such a project where this kind of work is being done, you will be asked this question, that how can I change the staffing model if I have people hired? It is possible, but how? That we have to think and answer. The answer is within its reasons. You know the way you have seen the test. It indicates that the answer of this question is within the same part. You need to tell where exactly you have the answer. What could be the answer? Think on it, guys. Think on it. I have a question. How many types of staffing models are there? One is position management. This one. Which other one is, and how do we know which one to go for? If that point comes. I just explained what is position management. What is job management? Where do we use position management? I just give you an example. Do you remember that? I got a little confused because I have Google opened up too. Is it? I think it says. It's like when you're creating a position under each, for each new employee, under each supervisor, or something. I'm sorry. I would really request that. We just completed all our discussion in this. What is position and what is job management? I have to again go through everything. No problem, I watched the recording. I just kind of missed on. No, Bo. I will just explain it to you. It is very easy, but guys, you have to concentrate here. If you are not, then you know you will be confused. And this is very important concept. I said, when we use position management, we have to open positions and then only we can hire. That's our first rule. And in this type of staffing, we only hire where you have a specific skill required. Let's say I want to hire a Workday consultant. I have a project where I need to work the HCM consultant who can help me building the project. I have a number. I need 2 people and I need Workday consultant. That's a 2 years of works. What will I do? I will open 2 positions and I will be under a specific project team. That is basically where you are going to use position management. Now, when it comes to job management, there is no way to create positions. You will have to set up the hiring restrictions. Now, what is hiring restriction? That till what time you can hire. The restriction is basically you will hire till the time there is no hiring freeze. You can keep on hiring as many people you want. You can do a bulk hiring also. There is no problem in the job management. That is the basic difference. Now what we were seeing is this particular supervisory organization. I have the staffing model. Now the staffing model, it was position. I was able to change it to job because there is no member in this. What I'm trying to explain is, if you have members, like there are 5 members, 5 people have been hired in the supervisory organization. I cannot change the staffing model, but in your interview you will be asked this question that I have this requirement from the client or the customer. They have this project. What will you do? Because you have to find a path to do that. I just have a question. Can you go to the other window? Well, we have, for example, for artificial intelligence. Let's consider we have, 5 members and under ERP we don't have any. The number is 0. In that case, we will be able to change the staffing model for ERP for artificial intelligence. We won't be able to change. Now, if they ask us to, change the staffing model, can we assign ERP as the superior and then try to change? No, you cannot do that. You cannot make it as a superior. No, I'm sorry. You are very close to the answer. This is something that we have to do some kind of, shuffling only. That is what we have to do. There are 2 actual answers for it. 1. I will go ahead and create a new supervisory organization. Keep the staffing model as position management and then bring all the employees onto different positions in my new supervisory organization. Inactivate the old one. That's one standard answer, but this is not the best practice. Imagine if you are creating a new supervisory organization and your company is operating from last 15-20 years. How much data is there in that organization? A lot of data. A lot of data is there. A lot of integrations is there. Everything will break. And that is a very expensive solution. No customer would be ready to implement it because they know that you are going to lose data. And you all know that there is a compliance that you have to maintain at least 7 years of data in your system. How do we, come to this solution? What can we do? That is a solution. I don't deny that. But that's very expensive. You have to rebuild all the integrations. You will have to rebuild all the reports. You will have to move all those data from there to do the new organization. It is equivalent to creating a new system. That is what we have to first of all understand how exactly we can make the changes and how exactly it can be done. You gave me an example that in this artificial intelligence, I have 5 members in ERP. I don't have any member. Why can't I move these 5 members to ERP on a temporary basis? Maybe I will just move it for 15 minutes on a weekend, maybe a Sunday, because it's not going to impact anything. And then I will go into the artificial intelligence. Let's say my staffing. There is a position I want to convert into job. I can do that. There is no problem because now my organization is empty. The only condition is that your organization should be empty. If you don't have employees, you can do that. That's the reason I said the answer is also hidden in this limitation only. In case we don't have any support organization, which is empty, you can create one that's empty and then move, or the members on a temporary basis and then change. Again, you are creating something. Why would you need to create it? That is the question. In the case, we don't have anything that you can still move the employees to any other manager for the time being. Your answer is also correct that I can go out and create a temporary supervisory organization, move it, and then move it back to them. That also is an answer. That also is not a wrong answer. But again, you will have to spend time in creating it. That is another solution that I don't deny. It depends upon your interviewer that what answer he or she accepts. All these 3 answers are correct. There is no problem in the answer, but what should be the best answer? That is what you have to give. That would be 100 ways of achieving a requirement. But what is the best possible way that we have to answer? Because we are a consultant. We should have multiple answers. But again which is that the best one that will be considered. That makes a difference. When give the interview that makes the difference between you and the other candidate. It's better to use whatever is already available instead of creating a new one. You always have to follow the best practice. Always have to see what is the best possible solution. Thank you. Guys, this is very important in terms of your interview. That's the reason I stretched much on this particular part, that you have the clarity where exactly the staffing model would be used, how exactly it will be used. What are the reasons why we need to use? Based on this in the next chapter, if my staffing model is position management, I will be able to create positions. If my staffing model is job management, I will not be able to create positions on that. I'll show it to you because the next chapter is basically jobs and positions. In this chapter, we are going to create job profiles. And if I have the job profiles with me, I am creating it for hiring. Why would I create a job profile? I will create it that I can send it to the recruiter and they can find the people from me. Correct. That is the reason we need to see how the position management works. When we create a position, we will link that job profile to the position, and that position will be linked to the job requisition, which is a part of your recruitment module, but we will touch it. We will try to understand it here because this is the base module, this is the core HCM, which have every part related to different modules. I don't have anything more in this particular chapter. This is, as I stated, very conceptual, something that you have to understand. And based on that, you may get scenarios which you may have to answer the questions in your interview. If the interviewer is very tricky, they will put you in trouble. And all these answers can only be given if you have experience. If you don't have, you will be confused and they will know that the person has no less experience or no experience. Are we good with this particular topic? Any questions? Confusion in this particular chapter, which is staffing model? I'm good. Guys, let's review what we have done up till now. We have completed our core concepts, navigations and everything. Then we have completed our organizations. We also have completed one assignment, in fact 2 assignments up till now. And then you see this option which says staffing model, the types of staffing, configuring hiring restrictions. This is one thing that we have not seen. We will see that when we go for hiring in the last chapter, which is business process. We understood about position and job, but we also have understood the difference between both of them and basically how do we maintain the staffing model. Maintaining means what kind of staffing model we have to choose while each department that you choose. That is very important part of your staffing. The only thing which we have not seen is a hiring restriction that we will see when we go ahead and hire somebody. We have now our next chapter. Basically, this is your jobs and positions. This is the base chapter for your recruitment module. If you don't know this chapter, it will be very difficult for you to learn recruitment. In case someone wants to go for a specialization, then it will be difficult. That's the reason we have this option. Let's start this chapter tomorrow. And this might take 2 days for us to finish because there will be configuration in this. We will become configuring the job profiler, job, family group. Then we will create a job profile. We will link it with the job family and job family group. Then we will create a position. Then how will we go ahead and link it with that position? That all the things we are going to look into this chapter. I think we are good for today and I'll not move forward. When we meet tomorrow, we will start the new chapter, which is jobs and positions. Or that will be our 4th chapter. We are going smooth. We are going perfectly on time. Thank you much, everybody, for joining. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.